Domonique Orange has the potential to be exactly what the Packers need at nose tackle.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Thanks to everyone who makes Locked On Packers their first listen every day. We hope you like starting your day with us as much as we like starting our day with you here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. On today's show, it's a GUTEY'S GUYS monstrous nose tackle, big citrus, Domonique Orange. And we break down what he is, what he could be, and how he fits with the Green Bay Packers. And we just talked about him earlier this week, so let me be upfront about overall my feelings about Domonique Orange. I don't believe he is someone at 52 that makes sense for the Green Bay Packers. Even 84 would be a little bit of a reach in terms of where I have him graded. But in terms of what he offers, I understand the potential upside value of a player like this. He still is just 21 years old, 6'2", 322. That is a big boy. And based on the testing, based on the reported testing from his special pro day, the athleticism is where you would want it. It is a relative athletic score over 8 based on the reporting, with a really good 10-yard split, a really, really good vertical jump, and a good enough short shuttle. He did the linear testing, the 40. He did the jumps, that measures explosiveness, and he did his short shuttle, which is going to give you a hint, at least, about his lateral agility, his ability to start, stop, and move in close quarters. So he checks those boxes. He's also got 33-plus inch arms. This is a big, big man. And in terms of the big, big men in this draft, he is one of the few that you go, okay, this guy as a run defender, if he understands what is asked of him, because Iowa State, they play this funky 3-man front. He played nose tackle, which is what he would probably be asked to do in Green Bay. And I don't know that it was always the best fit for him, or he wanted to do more than what was asked of him in that scheme. But a 3-year player at Iowa State, did not have a great Pro Football Focus grade last year, but had an 82 grade in 2024. He is a monster in terms of the physical stature. He's got thick legs, a big core. I went back and I watched 2024 against Iowa. Really good offensive line. Logan Jones, Jennings Dunker, all those guys that are in this draft class. He had this explosive TFL at the goal line where he shoots the gap and smacks the running back. And you're just like, oh yeah, 322 moving like that? Okay, cool. They even lined him up at end a handful of times in that game. He displaced Logan Jones, who's going to go probably in the top 100 in this draft class, multiple times and flashes that pass rushing juice. Even on the edge, you're like, wait a second, he's 322 moving like that. The movement skills are really good. And that's why when I came to the end of my report, I was like, if he tests like he flashes, then you go, okay, we can pull that athletic ability out of him and maximize it. That's the coach's job. This is something Daniel Jeremiah talks about all the time. It is, if the guy shows something on tape, flashes it on tape, it is up to the coaches to get it more consistently out of that guy, to help him improve. And it's, of course, up to the player to do his own offseason improvement and all that stuff. He flashes that pass rush juice that you want. He shows a cross chop. So there's a little bit of a, not necessarily a go-to move, but he can knock down hands and he's got the upper body strength to make it work. His coordination and movement skills at his size are special. And that's the thing that you can point to and say, okay, that's a top 100 player. He tried to run the hoop against, in a game against Iowa and did like a hezzy cross chop. And you're like, wait a second. I'm sorry. What? He's got burst off the line, by the way, the athletic testing. Bang, stamps it. When we talk about athletic testing, and I know this frustrates a lot of fans and even some media people, why do we care about the athletic testing? Because sometimes we see things on tape And you go, okay, but is that translatable? The NFL game is different. And when you can say, I strongly believe this translates, is when a physical trait like explosiveness, get off, is stamped by athletic testing. Someone in college that always looks like they're getting off the ball quickly, but then tests like a non-explosive athlete, guess what? They probably know the snap every time. A lot of these schools do not change up the snap count, and they're snap jumping. They know exactly when the ball is going to be snapped, and they get going a half second before the ball is going to be snapped, and it looks like they've got a great get off when in reality, they're just jumping the snap. Miami in 2024 consistently double teamed him. He does this thing that bothers me, where he wants to like half spin, and all of a sudden he's got his back to the offensive lineman. It's like, dude, you have to stop doing that. He's getting himself out of position, getting himself out of his gap. Either full spin or do nothing. Try and just get going forward. He showed improvement from 2024 to 2025. There is real improvement with hand placement, playing with better bend rather than just, standing straight up. He's not a tall guy, and so that should help him in the leverage battles. He's only 6'2". He's got a little arm over to get into the backfield in the run game. He's got some flashes of that pass rush. And when you block him one-on-one, you can see the power. You can see the power of him, the shock, the control, and those kinds of things. There are issues with technique and awareness, but the physical ability is there. Had a great pressure against Kansas State where he beat two guys to hit the quarterback. I would like to see him be a little bit better of an impact tackler. And after he tested well, and after I watched and saw, okay, Dane Brugler's got him in the top 70. Todd McShay's got him in the top 70. Am I wrong about this guy? And I went back and watched some more. And one of the things that stood out, and I think it is critical for a player of that size, is the effort. He does play with really good effort. He will run to the ball. So if he realizes, okay, there's a swing route, a lot of screens in the Big 12. Okay, I got to run out and try and make a tackle. And he will. He will chase a play and make plays where it's just sort of like, how does a nose tackle, how does a 320 plus pound guy get to those plays? I do like that about him. What I wanted to see was more. You'll notice in my notes, most of the comments are about his pass rush ability. I kind of think that the run defense is a little overstated. Here's where I landed. I wanted to love Orange, but there's just not much here on tape for me to grab onto. I love that he showed up in Ames and immediately as a 19-year-old is starting for the Cyclones. Love that. I love the size and the flashes of power, but this is a project. He's still learning how to play the position. He's a 3 technique trapped in a nose tackle's body. He has to push the pocket better from the interior when he's doubled. He will win quickly when blocked one-on-one, something that almost never happened even against the best teams. Iowa devoted a lot of attention to him in both meetings, 2024 and 2025. It was clear what opposing teams thought of him, but the best players have to find a way to make plays anyway, and he just doesn't. And here's where I wrote about the future. If he blows up his testing at his pro day, I'll be in on him as a day 2 pick. But if he doesn't, he's a day 3 nose tackle. I gave him a late 3rd, early 4th round grade. Now, how does he fit for the Packers? Let's talk about it next. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert and your documents get uploaded straight into the TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you just go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. The NBA playoffs are nearly here where every possession matters, every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. You can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. The app makes it easy to follow the action with player stats, trends, and matchups all in one place. And during the playoffs, that extra insight really matters where you're looking at stars, role players, and key moments. It just makes the entire playoff experience more engaging from start to finish. You want to bet on a star player to go over his point total, or you want to bet, a sub to hit his rebound total, or you just want to bet the Celtics to win because they're probably going to win a lot of these basketball games, man. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Generally speaking, guys this big do not develop into elite pass rushers. There are exceptions. Haloti Ngata, Dexter Lawrence, Justin Madubuike. There are a select few. My read on Big Citrus was he wanted to be more of a pass rusher than he was. And I actually think there's more pass rush. The irony of me not loving him as a prospect relative to consensus is I actually think he is a better pass rusher than others. I do. I see the upside as a pass rusher. I see someone who could turn into a very good interior rusher. And he's got the athletic ability to stamp that. What I didn't see was someone who consistently impacted the running game, who held against double teams, who would stack and shed blocks to make tackles in the run game. Watch Caden McDonald play the run. Watch Kristen Miller play the run. They do it in a different way. Now, again, he's playing in this weird three-man front. He's double teamed constantly. And so the opportunities that he does have to play one-on-one, he wants to take advantage of, and I get that, right? But I want him, I compared him to the 7-footer that wants to shoot jumpers rather than block shots and rebound. It's like, I need you to eat your vegetables so that I trust you on third down to go get it done. That's what you have to get these teams into third and long. And if you can't stop the run consistently, that's problematic. Now, in an NFL front where you're going to have other NFL players around you, where you're playing next to Devontae Wyatt and Micah Parsons and Lucas Van Ness, even in nickel, if you're playing on early downs in a three-man front with two edge players, you're going to have a lot more help, which means at the very least, you're going to be taking on 1.5 blockers, not just a straight 2 all the time. And that's going to give you a better chance. For Green Bay, they need someone. You look at the 2022 Eagles, they went out and they traded up for Jordan Davis, a nose tackle. And then they went out and they signed multiple veteran defensive tackles over the course of the season, Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. They need the bodies. The Packers need the bodies. And when they don't have a first-round pick, it's going to make it tougher to find an all-around defensive tackle. Even the best run stuffer in this draft to me is Caden McDonald. I don't think he has the pass rush upside that Big Citrus does. I just don't. But you're not going to find that complete player, that guy that's going to give you everything you want right away. You want him to come in and give you 20, 30% of snaps, be an early down run defender, and develop? Great. That's a lot to put on a 21-year-old who's going to be 22 this season, who, for my money, is still a project. I have to be transparent, though, and tell you that the consensus says he's a late second-round pick. And the Packers have a late second-round pick. If they take him at 52, it will not be that far outside of where the consensus believes he belongs, in the early 60s. Ideally, you trade back, you get an extra pick in the late 90s, early 100s if you can, and then you take him in the 60s, or you are happy with him being gone if that's fine, whatever. You're happy to take somebody else and get those extra picks. The Packers need defensive linemen. They're not going to pay both of Devontae Wyatt and Carl Brooks. Even if they extend one of those guys, Javon Hargrave is already 33. He's got a 2-year deal. He's not going to be around forever. They need a nose tackle. The question that they have to ask themselves is, in this draft class, where is that drop-off? And for me, it's right in this range. And we talked about how there's really only 2 guys in the top 100 who check all the boxes for Green Bay. It's Caleb Banks, who's injured with a foot injury that's scary, and Domonique Orange. And so that means that now you got to wait to day 3. And then the talent level, just by definition, is falling. I think there is a massive drop-off after the second round with these defensive tackles. I don't think that massive drop-off exists at other positions. You want a corner, you want a receiver, you want a linebacker, you want an offensive lineman, you can get them. You want a true difference maker at defensive tackle, you better draft Caleb Banks or Domonique Orange. After that, it's going to be a lot of guys who, for the Packers at least, have some limitations. Those limitations don't exist for Domonique Orange. So even though this is a project, the Packers don't just draft for year one. I do think he could come in and play snaps for the Packers right away. They don't really have a choice. Ideally, you draft someone like this and you go out and you sign a DJ Reader or you sign another big body, someone gets cut and you're able to add a veteran so that you don't have to rely solely on this guy, and you don't have to rely on Carl Brooks to play nose tackle on early downs. You don't have to rely on Javon Hargrave to play nose tackle on early downs, or Devontae Wyatt, God forbid. So the fit here is about as obvious as it gets. He could come in and be your early down nose tackle. Consistently? I don't know. But he can survive, to me, against play action, first and second down. And I think right now he has the power. You see the strength. You get him in an NFL weight room, in an NFL training program, and by year two, you could be talking about a very, very good football player. I readily admit, in terms of upside, I think Christian Miller, Caleb Banks are the only guys in this class that have more upside than Domonique Orange. I just think he's less ready to come in right now and play than some other players. And no testing red flags. That's a big deal for Green Bay. He is a pretty clean prospect, a pretty clean eval generally. That doesn't mean he's a perfect player. But the Packers have a need at nose tackle. He is one of the few true potential difference-making nose tackles in this draft. And short of Caden McDonald being there, and it seems like there's almost no shot of that being true, Christian Miller could be there. Your options right now are Christian Miller, Caleb Banks, and Domonique Orange. Those are your options if you want a guy that can come in and solidify your run defense. After that, you are praying to the football gods. The right guy falls to you, you get lucky, and you have something. So this makes a ton of sense. If it happens, if they pick him at 52, I will go, I understand the process, I understand the reasoning, and I actually like the upside as a pass rusher more than other people. I thought Dane Brugler was very uncharitable saying there's no pass rush there. I see the pass rush. It's the other stuff that I wanted to see more of. You hope that with some coaching, with a front that is a little bit, more generous to him, where he doesn't have to constantly eat 2 blocks, that could help him out. There's plenty to like here. It's going to take some time, and we have to be honest about that part of it. All right, much more to come here on Locked On Packers this week. A squad show on Thursday night. We've got a live show on Friday in addition to the regular Locked On Packers, then a Sunday OT coming with Brandon Snide. Masters weekend. Enjoy the Masters. And we're that much closer to the draft. Just 2 weeks away now. Packers don't have a first round pick. I do think we're going to do a live stream for the first round. I don't know about the second round, but come hang out. Let's talk on round one. Let's have some fun and let's do this. We're gonna be doing it for Locked On Packers. So come subscribe on YouTube wherever you get podcasts. You can also find us, of course. Follow me on the social medias wherever you get social media. And the Everydayer Club is built for you. If you're listening to this episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. LockedOnPackers.supercast.com gets you ad-free access to Locked On Packers, plus access to the Discord server, the group chat, all that good stuff. So you can always stay Locked On Packers.